Welcome to this tutorial for Cisco Cybervision. This time we are going to cover the process of acknowledging violations of baselines. Let's start with a quick intro. Cybervision supports you by securing industrial networks. It does that by providing you with the technical capabilities to identify assets communicating in the network, primarily inspecting and analyzing the traffic passively. The results of this analysis are provided to a center and used for further processing. It is the basis of all features and functionalities, like the ability to assign vulnerabilities to assets, as well as the foundation for segmenting your networks, detecting leaks and driving compliancy and governance. Since the data collected is highly dimensional and complex, you can organize it using presets. Please feel free to watch the video on presets. You can create a baseline for every presets you have. Once a baseline is created, certain changes in the scope of the preset will be reported. For instance, new, yet unseen communication, or new assets. Let's examine this further. Log into your Cybervision Center and navigate to Explore in the main menu. You can see that there was already a baseline created for the All Data preset. The 0 count indicates that there are no differences for this baseline yet. Let's have a closer look and navigate to Monitor in the main menu. You will find the same baseline here. If you continue to create more baselines, the Monitor section is a good place for an overview across all of them. Click on Asset Management in your baseline. On the left-hand side, you will find the characteristics of your baseline. For instance, when it was created, for which preset it was created, and also when it was updated the last time. On the right you can see the data that defines this baseline. If at any point in time this data changes with new assets being introduced, or by existing assets communicating differently, there will be a baseline difference highlighted. You can see that for this baseline there is already an indication for such a difference. Click on Asset Management. On the right you can see the highlight in the table pointing to the difference reported. On the left-hand side you can see that there are 6 new components and 15 new activities highlighted in this baseline. By clicking on either of the buttons, you can make the data on the right focus on your selection. This way you can become selective and either examine the new communication or the new assets. Click the New Components button on the left. Select any of the new reported components. You now have 2 options. You can either acknowledge this new component, or you can report this difference. By acknowledging it, you will make it become part of this baseline. In this case there will be no more differences reported for this asset in this baseline. If you report this difference, it will not be made part of this baseline. Instead, an event will be raised to notify about this new asset. Let's click on Acknowledge. Provide a reason for this acknowledgement. Keep in mind that your acknowledgement will be logged and is auditable. Click on Acknowledge. Let's do the same for an activity. Click on the New Activities button on the left. Select any of the new activities. This time, let's report it. Click on Report Selection. Provide a reason on why you report this activity and submit. Please note that you could have selected one or more items of the list, and that you could have acknowledged it as well. With your baseline difference being acknowledged and reported, let's navigate to the events. Click on Events in the main menu. On the dashboard you can see that there are already quite some events. Click on List in the tab Navigation. You might see more than just the two, but let's focus on the events for the two submissions we just did. You can see one for the acknowledged new component and one for the reported communication. This way you can leverage baselines on top of presets to maintain what you consider should be part of a baseline. Maintaining baselines can become a lot of work, especially at scale. Because of this, CyberVision provides you the capabilities to do all this with a programmatic approach using the API. Navigate to Admin in the main menu, followed by API and Documentation in the sub-menu. You can find a whole section of the API dealing with baselines and baseline differences. For instance, the API function for asking the systems about specific differences for a given baseline. The API of course also provides you with the functionality of acknowledging or reporting baseline differences. If you are interested in a programmatic integration, please consider watching the tutorial video about using the API as well. Thank you for watching this tutorial about the process of acknowledging baseline violations.